Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an absolutely fantastic day. At the moment, Ledger is having a 30% off sale on their Ledger Nano S Plus in select colors. They are having a 50% off sale on their Ledger Nano X Everyday Carry Bundle, 30% off on their Nano S Plus bundle, 10% off the Ledger Family Pack as well, 10% off the Ledger Family Plus S, a lot of letters, and 10% off their Ledger Backup Pack as well. While I do not work for Ledger, I am an affiliate and have an affiliate link in the description below for those of you looking to secure your crypto. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. I'm going to try and be nice here, but it's very, very difficult because the same exact thing has been happening over the course of the last 3 years. In news that I am going to call Onar, I can't believe this actually happened. Yet another DeFi wink protocol has apparently been compromised, and a lot of people within the cryptocurrency space are quite shocked because this has only happened to around 16 other DeFi protocols. So number 17, that's the really unbelievable part. For those of you who haven't been paying attention, DeFi, decentralized finance, is meant to be the beginning of Web3, that is to say, the future of finance, being able to deal in things decentralizationally in a more secure and open, decentralized manner. However, a lot of the news that we have received collectively over the course of the last year and a half, especially from the good old SEC, is that they've been actually sending letters to these DeFi platforms, basically like a cease and desist. The issue is that if you are DeFi, no one actually controls you. There should not be an office. This is similar to the SEC cannot send a letter to Bitcoin. It doesn't really work that way. However, multiple other DeFi platforms were closed by the SEC and or have become rug pulls in that these protocols launch. They tell everyone that they are decentralized. There's a whole wide network of people on these platforms. And then we consistently hear that it's actually just run by around 4 people. In an office, usually somewhere in San Francisco or in Brooklyn or something like that. Yeah. The team behind the protocol has confirmed the attack and has urged users to avoid interaction with the project's interface. What a shame. Balancer, or BAL, an automated market maker on the Ethereum blockchain, has become the latest decentralized financial protocol to suffer from a front-end attack. I can't believe it. I just assumed that this would never happen again because it happens about twice a month, but cool. According to a post on Twitter from Balancer, the issue is, and I quote, under investigation. Well, that's good to know. They said the Balancer front-end is under attack. The issue is currently under investigation. Please do not interact with the Balancer user interface until further notice. Although no other details on the matter were given, the team behind Balancer urged users to avoid interacting with the protocol's website. According to a blockchain investigator, ZachXBT, the hacker apparently stole around $238,000 worth of crypto. The issue is that if you use a DeFi protocol and they get hacked, it's usually a portion of your money. That's part of the problem. They're not decentralized. They're run by a company. They don't have a lot of nodes. It's not community run. It's literally one of the most centralized things that we have within the space, if not on the planet. And the money that's in it is yours and your friends and your family members. And when the hack happens, there isn't like a pool of money that just says like balancer on it that they take from the company. No, they take from your funds. As of press time, the stolen funds were being directed to an address. They know exactly which address they were going to. And you would assume that this would be some kind of a like a fail safe. Okay, we know where the money has gone, but mixers and other types of things exist within the cryptocurrency space where you can basically send your coins to a wallet address and have them mixed up in a certain way, and you kind of are able to then use the funds as you so wish. It's difficult to do, but criminal's gonna criminal. So yeah, apparently, excuse me, this is apparently the second loss, I believe this month. So just as always, the idea of Web3, once again, is just a fancy keyword. We have not gotten there yet. A lot more companies and institutions and protocols will be launching as we get closer to and are past the Bitcoin halving, because they want your money. So they are going to market it as something amazing, awesome, and fantabulous that you should be using and putting your money into. The problem is they're not actually DeFi, and these protocols keep getting hacked. A lot of people choose to use these DeFi protocols because they're trying to make quick, fast, easy money. A lot of them will offer a 19% return on your money. I've noticed that a lot of people who are in the cryptocurrency space are not used to traditional finance in that. For those of you, you should all know what a dividend is from the stock market, in that if you are holding a portion of a stock, you receive money every 3 to 4 months from the company as a thank you for holding their stock. A good number to receive as a dividend is anywhere between 2 to 4%. I know it sounds relatively low. Sorry, the weather is terrible. I know it seems relatively low, but that is a normal dividend to receive. It is a steady and slow amount that you receive. Like, you're not supposed to become a millionaire overnight from the stock market. However, there are also other companies who offer 16% dividends, 22% dividends, and a lot of people throw their money into those. They do that because they're shaky. They need your money. They're trying to establish themselves in some sort of way. And these companies usually end up collapsing because they need the money. And this is so, just as a gigantic warning, when you hear things in the cryptocurrency space are trying to offer you 19, 30, 22% returns, that is a gigantic red flag, and you should be avoiding them. There is nothing wrong with receiving a 4, 5, 6.5% return in the cryptocurrency space. These numbers are already gigantic, and that's on top of the coins that you have also rising in value normally. Just making sure that I throw that out there. That's the balancer news. Watch out for these DeFi protocols because, you know, logic. All right. Let's move on. In news that people acted like was special, Brad Garlinghouse has stated during an interview that over 80% of the company's hiring for this year will be done outside of the United States. The announcement comes in the midst of the legal battle with the US SEC over the classification of XRP. Ripple plans to expand globally and hire key personnel in countries such as Japan, Singapore, and the UK. And it says that Ripple has denied allegations that is happening from the US SEC. This is, yes, it's cool news. Yeah, awesome, amazing. Can't believe it. But it's also news that we knew about or have known about for a while now, in that I told Ripple, I don't even know these people. I remember ranting about it. Leave the US, go somewhere else, do your business elsewhere. If these people still haven't given you regulatory clarity, just simply go to other countries that have and that will. And then they got the actual lawsuit from the SEC. And I think that was the final digital nail in the digital coffin for them. Ripple has been expanding outside the US for a number of years now, and they're doing exceptionally well. I don't have to go over all the Ripple news because it's literally in the news every single day. However, people were talking about this online as if this was like something new, that as if now, because of the SEC's actions, they're like, no, now we're gonna go overseas. Nope, they've been doing this for a number of years. This is why they've been doing so gosh darn well, and I assume that only the 20% are actually still being hired because they're probably like, okay, we will get regulatory clarity at some point. And the US has extremely high volumes of cryptocurrency trading. So cool. Just makes a lot of sense. I think other companies would probably flourish. Don't forget, we have hundreds of other countries out there. They also have money. They also want your business. So a lot of times people get confused and think that the place that they're standing is the only area where they can make money, not realizing that the rest of the world also exists. That's the Ripple is hiring 80% of their new staff outside of the US. It is not because of the SEC's legal battle. Well, I mean, kind of like years ago, but it's also because of like lack of regulatory clarity. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other companies have been coming to them to be like, hey, let's make money together. That's the Ripple news. And yeah, let's move on. So we're in this really weird, let me rephrase that. Every day in the cryptocurrency space is weird. Some are weirder than others, but we're currently in this really odd mix of anticipation for the halving, the issue around interest rates, the problem with inflation, and what I would say is something that's questionable in that I find it a bit odd that all the regulatory everything is happening around the exact same time, which tells me that it's probably all coordinated. And I think that the news that we've been getting from a lot of other countries who before were at the forefront of the cryptocurrency market, a lot of the regulation stuff that they're doing just seems a little bit weird and more forced than anything, with them trying to, it seems like, prove a point. You'll see what I'm talking about. Korea Customs Service, the customs regulator of South Korea, recently highlighted the role of crypto assets in financial crimes. The Customs Service was joined by the country's Financial Services Commission, or the FSC, which pointed out that over-the-counter crypto trading plays a huge role, they say, in illegal foreign exchange transactions. I find this weird because over-the-counter trades typically take place in a regulated manner, and you would be hard-pressed to actually find companies who would be willing to trade or swap hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars with you for the chance of potentially being caught by regulators and or by the cops. You normally wouldn't risk it. The only people who are typically doing OTC, over-the-counter trades, are people who have large amounts of money. According to a recent report by, I guess, some publication called Asia Economy, the value of illegal foreign exchange transactions with crypto assets reached an estimated $4 billion in 2022. The problem with estimations is that they're usually just estimates. I know that sounds dumb. If you watch documentaries or watch any type of news stories about like actual estimates of things that governments have had, for instance, years ago, it was believed that around 25 to 50% years ago of cryptocurrency transactions were illegal in some sort of way, that they were being used for illegal purposes, money laundering, you name it. And then it was roughly around the time that we had Sentiment and Chainalysis come out as companies. These are two companies who scour the blockchains for information. And they found that it was less than 1% of 1%, think of that number, of cryptocurrency transactions that actually were illegal in some sort of way. So that knocked us down from nearly 50% to 1% of 1% of things that could have been deemed or looked like something as if they were illegal. A lot of times countries usually give inflated numbers in that you can make the argument that if this transaction was happening and this person simply did not announce that they were spending $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 on a car and did not report that massive movement of money, this could also then be considered something that is illegal. You can also inflate numbers a lot of other ways, the same exact way you can also lower the numbers. I've seen so many videos on this recently. The same exact way that we keep getting the news that the current inflation rate is, 4.4%, 3 point, I don't know exactly what the number is. But when you go into the supermarket and you realize that the price of everything, your grocery bill, is about a good 50 to 75% higher than it was exactly 1 year ago. The petrol and gasoline that you're buying for your car is, double the price of what it was before. Your rent went from $1,400 to $2,300. Clearly, the inflation rate is not 4%. Not saying that, because I'm not an Asian economist, I can't tell you the numbers. But the idea of an estimated $4 billion just within South Korea being used for illegal transactions is like, okay, sure. The growing concern about unlawful transactions in financial crimes has prompted South Korean regulators to take aim at OTC over-the-counter crypto trading in the 2023 Third Supreme Prosecutor's Office. This is a long sentence. South Korean regulators to take aim at OTC crypto trading in the 2023 Third Supreme Prosecutor's Office Criminal Law Academy. Where are the commas there? That's a very long sentence, which was held earlier this month. The meeting, which was held under the theme, these long sentences, legal challenges in the discipline of virtual assets, was attended by South Korea's Deputy Chief Prosecutor, the Director of Capital Markets Department, and top officials from the Financial Crime Services Commission. The regulators reportedly agreed on the need for strong regulations of virtual currencies, especially OTC trading and depository businesses. Okay, red flag. Little bit. Okay, this is a bit of a red flag. In that, countries want their money. I think that's something we can all agree on. In that, if they see that an activity is happening that needs to be reeled in so that the country, can actually receive their slice of the pie, good old Uncle Sam and taxation. This usually happens years ago. The letters OTC aren't anything new. We've seen OTC transactions, and I scroll it down to just within the cryptocurrency space for a very long time. I find it a little weird that South Korea, along with Japan, had a stronghold on the cryptocurrency market and transactions way back in 2017, 2017. And now we are just hearing 6 years later that they're trying to reel in over-the-counter trading. Doesn't it seem weird that they didn't try to do that at the beginning of this year, last year, 2020, 2019, 2018? The red flag there is, this tells me that there were probably a number of high net worth individuals who were using these OTC counters, and or maybe other people who have a lot of money, and now they're trying to get it under control. You understand what I'm saying? You let the rich people do as they please for a very long time. And then when you see that normal people begin to use these services, you don't allow normal people to launder, wink, money. You allow the larger players. Very weird. The timing is a bit odd on this one. It's also the same exact thing, I mean, without having to get into the conversation of like the SEC's actions. Why not regulate crypto back in 2013? Why not back in 2017? Why not back in 2019? Why give the lawsuit on the last day in office? Why still do we not have cryptocurrency regulations within the United States? Why try to make sure that you're going to set a precedent and or show other companies that you mean business now? Why this year? Why not every other year before? Who was moving around money that you did not care about? Why is it now? Anyway, that's an entirely different conversation, but very weird. It's not out of the realm of possibility to believe that governments would be doing something shady. That is just, that's been going on for thousands of years. It's not a tinfoil hat thing. It is literally like, look back at history, look back at ancient Rome, look back at ancient Greece. Humans have been doing the same nonsense for a very long time. That's the sure news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in, why not? David Hirsch, head of cryptocurrency assets and the cyber unit of the US SEC, has issued a stern warning to cryptocurrency exchanges and to decentralized finance projects. You know exactly what time it is. The SEC has re-announced that they are going to not stop their gigantic, what's that big machine? Like it looks like a rolling pin, but it's a machine, so it's not a rolling pin, a rolling machine? They're going to keep driving that as much as they possibly can because the SEC keeps saying that something is wrong with the cryptocurrency space. And they said earlier in this year that they plan on regulating by enforcement as opposed to giving actual rules. That's not a joke. That is literally what they said. They think that they are catching more bees with vinegar by basically pushing everyone away and burning as many bridges as possible, as opposed to actually just releasing cryptocurrency regulation on their website that everyone has to follow. And then 12 months later, going to these companies to evaluate to see if they follow the rules. So you'd rather bully people as opposed to just releasing regulation that every crypto exchange has been asking for, has not received, and now everybody's in trouble. He noted that similar to Coinbase and Binance's cases, more criminal charges are imminent for those who have violated securities laws. The problem is that you're not telling them what laws they violated. It's simply a blanket. You state that they are securities laws. And I mean, if we can be completely honest with ourselves, Kraken, I think, has stopped doing business within the US. They are just around the rest of the world now. Gemini already got in trouble at the beginning of the year. Coinbase and Binance both have cases still against them. Those are mainly the only big crypto exchanges that we have within the entirety of the space. You can also throw in OKX and yada yada, but these are the big four. So who exactly are you going after? What's the point of announcing that you're going after them as opposed to having already gone after them back in 2019? Why the wait? The way that, for those, and I mentioned this before in another video, I know exactly why the wait is there, and this is actually terrible. The way that, I'm stretching, my back. The way that criminality actually works within the United States, and I know this because I lived there, and I know people who are within the justice system, is that you wait until you have a case. So let's say you see Binance. You wait until you have something that's above a delinquency. So let's say you see across the street that every single day Binance is selling lemonade, and you see that every day they're making roughly around $5, but they, for whatever reason, are not declaring that they're selling lemonade. There's no USDA, there's no regulator looking after the lemonade that they're selling, and also the $5 that they're making per day. At the end of the year, they're not declaring it in taxes. Random situation, but follow along with me. After a couple of years, the amount of money that they've made that they have not declared becomes criminal in action. It becomes one of intent. You intently knew that you were making this much money and you did not declare. You would then say, well, if you saw them doing it from the very beginning, or at least for half a year, wouldn't it make more sense to tell them after the first 6 months, hey, just making sure that you need to get your lemonade checked. And you also need to make sure that the money that you're receiving, you have it written down every day so that at the end of the year, you can tell the tax people. That's not the way that it works, because you can't get people in trouble that way. You have to wait until enough time has passed by and you see that they're doing this action without telling them that they're doing the action, because logically you would assume if you're crossing the street and it's constantly a red light and no one's telling you otherwise, well, therefore, sure, it's fine. If someone comes up to you and says, hey, it's a red light, you can't cross. Hey, you're driving a car, you can't drive through when there's a red light. You go, okay, I now know the rules. Imagine if you had been driving for 5 years and every single time you saw everyone else passing a red light, so you zoom by a red light, not really paying attention to it. Then after 5 years, someone comes up to you and say, hey, we've seen over the last 1,500 days that you have broken the law, and therefore we're going to repossess your car. We're taking away your house, and you can't ever drive again. You would go, why didn't anyone tell me that? It's a weird story, of course, because we have driving rules. But imagine that for cryptocurrency exchanges. You can't. The way that it works is that they wait until you get in trouble enough that they have a massive case against you. This made me annoyed when I was younger. This also goes for people who are outside standing on street corners, selling to other people things that look like powder and dust. It's the nicest way for me to be able to say it. The way that it works in the US is that you usually wait until you build a case against them as opposed to taking them down. It's a very weird system. And this is why I think the US SEC, after all these years, has a large enough case to say, hey, you've been doing something wrong. The problem is, this is very unprecedented in that this is a new space. Tell these companies what they're doing wrong before they do something wrong. But the other issue is that we know, and we have received news of, the SEC receives a large amount of money, a cut, if you will, when they've gotten a company in trouble. This is why you've seen before that the news that the SEC has settled with blank. Blank has settled with the SEC. Despite all the charges, they're settling with the SEC. And if you look at the settlement numbers, they pay the SEC $3.5 million, $14 million. Remember the news that we had a couple days ago, months ago. Ripple has already spent over $100 million because of the court case against the SEC. So who benefits the most from the lack of rules and regulations? It's not us. We don't benefit at all from any type of clarity. It's the people who are supposed to be regulating. Speaking at the Securities Enforcement Forum Center in Chicago, Hirsch revealed that the agency is currently investigating several firms engaging in activities similar to those seen at Coinbase and Binance. He emphasized that the industry's compliance violations go beyond these two organizations. He said, "We will continue to make these accusations," Hirsch said, adding that there are other businesses on the SEC's radar that operate similarly to Coinbase and Binance. Don't have to really read anymore. A lot of people were annoyed at this news because stop this entire dancing around the subject kind of thing. Why are you waiting so long to give cryptocurrency regulations? Why does no one like Gary Gensler? That's very telling. Imagine you work in an office and no one likes you, and you know that no one likes you. You go home and no one likes you. Maybe it's time for you to change. Maybe something's wrong with you. The fact that we have people within the SEC actively, openly talking about that they don't agree with Gary Gensler, and people are talking about his resignation and can't wait for him to go. Red flag. It's a huge, gigantic problem. So, somewhere down the line, I wish I could tell you when, we are going to get more news that the SEC has gotten another company in trouble. I'm actually glad that they did Binance and Coinbase first, so that we got, the big dogs out of the way. You can't, re-say that they've done something wrong, because the initial movement were shocks to our market. So Whatever companies they're going to get in trouble, we will be hearing about them. That's just the way that the news works. It ends up being popular news because anytime that the letters SEC are in anything, it ends up being top news. So cool. Fantastic. I hope they have a good time being absolutely terrible people and not. Imagine your job is to literally give 25 pieces of paper. You can mail it to multiple companies saying exactly what they should and should not do. Please drive within the lines. Please have your turn signal on as you are turning. Please look out for people as they are walking. Make sure that you have your car off when you get out of it. Park it in neutral. Please look at the stop signals as you are driving. If it is red, do not go further. Imagine making sure that you don't give that information to companies who are dealing with the money of millions of people within your country that you are supposed to be regulating. What a time to be alive. I do sincerely hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See